Hello, welcome back to my channel, and today's video is going to be quite simple. It will be a spring TBR. I know I have not held up any of my TBRs. Like, I don't think I've read half the ones on my winter TBR. Okay, I read quite a few, but not a lot. So this is a TBR, but it's a very loose TBR because I'm very much a mood reader, so I have to be in the mood for certain things, and nothing proved that more than this winter did. I read 8 books in March, none of them on my winter TBR. Actually, 8 books is quite the record for me, so that's pretty impressive. I'm not going to hold you too long. I'm going to go ahead and start with the first stack, which is books I have A, already read, or B, are library books and are due soon. The first one is Mistborn. I have not touched this one since I started it. I'm still on page 22, but because I got really into the library and now I'm in a rush to finish library books, this one kind of fell to the wayside. So I may just start it over at this point. I may not, because I kind of remember what's going on. But this is definitely on my spring TBR. I really want to get into this trilogy, and I hate that it's taking me this long to continue to read it. But I have been getting into library books, as can be seen by a lot of my vlogs, and this one just fell by the wayside, and it makes me super sad that it did. So there's probably going to be a permanent indention where this bookmark has been sitting. So this is one I really want to get to. And I'll probably start it really soon because I really need to get to this one. The second one I've also already started and I'm halfway through, and it is a library book, and it is As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson. I also bring this one up simply to kind of give you an update on how this book is going. Like I said, I'm almost exactly halfway through it. I just got to part 2, and if you know the series, you know what I'm about to say. The halfway point makes me so angry. Like, there are so many people who say this is a good book, but there are others who are kind of on my end of the spectrum saying, what was that at the end of part 1? What was that? So I can't get too much into it because, again, spoilers with the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, but there's just a lot going on in this book that I don't think is really Pip's character from the first 2 books. Like, I understand she's going through a lot, especially after Good Girl, Bad Blood, but she's going in like a weird direction. It's just going in a weird direction. I want to finish it to say I've read all of these books, but I know that the next half is going to be a slog to get through for me because, like, the big exciting climax has already happened and has ended terribly. So, and I've still got half this book left. So to me, this is going to be a total slog probably. I could be wrong. I don't think I am. And I think it's because the ending of this seriously made me super angry. So I'm gonna try and finish it. I'm gonna try my best not to DNF. But I'm not making any promises because part 2, I haven't even started part 2 yet. I haven't read this in a good 3 days because it's made me so angry. Like, my husband will ask me, are you gonna go read? And I'll say no. And he's like, why not? It's like, because I'm still angry at my book. And he's like, that's how the author wrote it. I'm like, I know, that doesn't mean I have to like it. So that is my opinion on As Good as Dead so far. I am so angry at where this went. And maybe I'll finish it. Well, I kind of have to because the next one on this TBR is a novella, and it is Killjoy, also by Holly Jackson. And this is a prequel novella, which I didn't know when I picked it up. I was hoping it was like kind of like a small thing, like adventure after A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, more kind of Pip Ravi action, but considering it takes place before the first book, that is most certainly not the case. Basically, she goes to a murder mystery party, and there's actually like something actually happens, and so she has to put her detective hat on, and it kind of gets her, apparently this is what kind of gets Pip into the mystery solving thing in the first place. I may actually enjoy this because we have a Pip before Good Girl Bad Blood, so that might be more exciting, but I'm not as excited to read this as I was when I checked it out because of As Good as Dead, I'll be honest. But I do kind of want to read this one still. I mean, I checked it out from the library, so. The last one in this third of my TBR is A Study in Drowning. I have heard this one is really good, and I've almost picked it up several times because it had, like, one of the editions had this absolutely beautiful sprayed edge that looked like bookshelves, but I had no idea what the story was about, and I was like, I'm not going to purchase a book because of pretty sprayed edges. So I have no idea what this book is about as of right now. I've heard really good things about this, that's all I know. I haven't heard a lot about this. I don't know a lot about these books that I'm about to read, honestly. So I've just heard this one's really good. I got it from the library the same time I got As Good as Dead, and I need to finish it before it's due at the beginning of next month. So that's why it's on this TBR. Another one that will probably be on the TBR later is because I have a hold on it is The Queen of Nothing by Holly Black, because as much as the second book made me mad, what is it with these YA trilogies making me mad? As much as the second one just frustrated me, I still want to finish it and see where she takes it. So that's why that one's a 3-star, because it's like, okay, fine, I'll finish it, read it, see where this takes me. But I'm not impressed with the ending of the second book. So that is on hold at my local library. So that is also technically on the TBR, along with The Last Person at the Wedding, I think is what the book is called, by Jason Rekalak. I have it on my ebook right now, and I'm on chapter 5. So those are the 4 books that are in my first part of this TBR. The third, I guess, of this TBR is just some fiction and fantasy that I really want to get into. The first one, because I've had it on my shelf forever, is Once Upon a Broken Heart. I've heard this series is really good, and I haven't actually read this yet. I also haven't read Carnival, which I believe takes place in the same world, and people are like, you have to read it first, and it's like, I have this one, I'm starting here. So, ooh, sounds like Evangeline gets herself into some trouble by stopping a wedding. Uh-oh. So other than that, I don't know anything about this series. But I've just heard, again, it's one of those books I've just heard is really good. I've heard it from Book Talk and BookTube, which, considering how that's treating me, is iffy. So we'll see. But I'm gonna give this a try. BookTube, please don't let me down with this one. Please. Next one I've also had forever. I've actually had this one since college. It was a gift from my brother. And it's The Shadows of the Dark Crystal by J.M. Lee. It takes place in the world of the Dark Crystal Age of Resistance, and basically the main character is a Gelfling who, her brother is, I'm reading the back, sorry. I read it the other night and I still remember. I can't retain summaries to save my life. I'll retain the book, not the summary. She's witnessing his trial, and then she digs deeper into it and maybe understands why her brother did what he did. So it's not very long. It's literally, oh my god, I'm in the glossary. It's less than 300 pages. It's not long. I just have never picked it up. But for someone who like loves the world of Labyrinth, the Dark Crystal, really anything Jim Henson came up with, I hate that I haven't gotten into this yet, and I really want to try it and see if I like it. I'm scared that the rest of the series is going to be hard to find though, because it's probably not the most talked about thing in publishing, so I'll probably have to look on Amazon for this one if I even enjoy this, which I probably will. My brother knows me pretty well. The last one in this one is, I really, really, really want to start this trilogy, and that is The Bone Ships by R.J. Barker. I've talked about this one in my winter TBR because I really wanted to get into fantasy. into like some fantasy reads for winter because that's like the best time to read fantasy, and then I didn't read a whole lot of it. I really want to read the Bone Ships. It still sounds interesting. Basically this the 100 Isles makes their ships out of dragon bones. The dragons are gone at this point, and then the first one in centuries shows up, and so they're all going after it. It's pretty much what I understand. They're all going after this dragon that showed up after centuries of the dragons being gone. This is a trilogy. The first, and like I said in my winter TBR video, yeah, you can tell how bad I was at that. Really, the first page kind of caught my attention. Like the first sentence, "Give me your hat." They're not the sort of words that you expect to start a legend, but they were the first words he ever heard her say. She said them to him, of course. I don't know why, but that grabbed me. And I'm like, now I want to read the whole book. Because I want to hear this legend. I really want to get to this one this spring. So this one is also on that fantasy TBR. This is the second, this is 2/3, the second third of my TBR. The third is my nonfictions, and there is a big maybe in the nonfictions, but we'll get to that in a minute. The first one I want to read is The Underworld: The Journeys of the Depths of the Ocean by Susan Casey. This is the same author who wrote Songs of the Ocean, Voices of the Ocean. She wrote Voices in the Oceans, and I enjoyed that book enough. There were some things I had issues with, but because of my Christian background is really why I had an issue with them. They're the very new agey ideas that because dolphins can echolocate, they can open parallel dimensions. Personally, I think this is a little far-fetched. I mean, it's a hunting technique, but I digress. But I liked it enough that I wanted to read her other book, The Underground. So I'm really excited about this one, another one to annotate and have fun with. The next one I technically have started already, so it kind of counts for the first one too. And that, I've got several books about pirates up here, but I haven't finished Under the Black Flag by David Cordling. I started reading this, I don't even know, God, 2023, I think. I had an Audible subscription, and this was available with your Audible subscription, so I was listening to it as well as reading it, and then I put it down and I never picked it back up. And I was only on page 37, so you can tell how far I got into this, which makes me so sad. Why did I not finish this? Basically, a detailed history of the golden age of pirates, which I think the Republic of Pirates up here also is. I have a couple pirate books, like in like summer of 2022. I had like an obsession with pirates, and I ended up buying like 3 pirate books, and this was one of them. So, and I haven't finished it yet. I have actually started this one, and I used a pink highlighter, the only highlighter I had at the time, that bled through. Oops. So this one is definitely on my TBR to finally finish, so I can finally move on to the other 2 that I have. So there's that one. The next one is one that's like really, I'm hoping it doesn't hurt me too badly, and that is Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing, a memoir by Matthew Perry. I bought this book after like his case was open on how he died, like how that all went down, is when I finally just caved and picked up. I didn't even pick it up. I think I ordered it on Amazon. I ordered this on Amazon to finally just read it. I had it on Audible already, still hadn't listened to it. But I haven't read a memoir in a while. I'll probably get depressed afterward. But I'm finally going to pick this book up. I'm probably also pick up Jeanette McCurdy's I'm Glad My Mom Died as well. I have it saved on Spotify. So this is on the TBR. I don't think I have too much to say about that. I love Friends. It's one of my favorite shows. Watching the show for me after his death actually wasn't that hard. It was actually watching the bloopers, because that's when he'd break character, and it would be moved from Chandler to Matthew Perry. So I was very affected. I was like unexpectedly affected by his death. So I do want to read his memoir. I'm glad I have a copy, but I do want to read this spring and go ahead and get this read. Anyway, last one for this TBR is actually a reread. It is a nonfiction, and it is Orca. How We Came to Know and Love the Ocean's Greatest Predator. I read the audiobook for this in 2023, and I loved it. But now I have my own copy. I have a physical copy, and I want to go back in and annotate it because I am now obsessed with annotating nonfiction books. I do remember there was a quote in this book that hit me really hard. It was near the end of the book. I don't remember where it was, but it hit me hard enough that I remember it. But this book is basically the history of our knowledge of Orcinus orca, and as much as we hate the idea of these animals being in captivity and being in these very small, let's be honest, they're small tanks, it does explain the role that captivity had in us understanding and loving these animals as much as we do. So it's a very interesting insight. I loved it. I thought it was very interesting. And as much as we hate orcas being in captivity, because of some of those captures, as much as we hate them and they're depressing and awful, now that we have a better understanding, that captivity helped us have a better understanding of these animals, as much as we hate to admit it. The line he used, because orcas and most dolphins kind of rely very heavily on sound, one of the quotes that really grabbed me when I was reading this is a question he asked. I don't quite remember the context, but he's basically comparing it, a young orca whose entire world starts with sound, because that's how orcas communicate. The quote was, do young orcas fear silence the way human children fear the dark? And that hit me hard, and I don't remember the context of that quote at all, but I remember that quote because it hit me in the head. So I would love to reread this into the book to annotate. As you can tell, I love the ocean, and I live in Minnesota. This is going to be a fun reread for me. And I think I'm going to keep my TBR honestly at that, because I'm scared if I make it too big, it'll become way too overwhelming. So I think I'm going to leave it at that. It should be easier to get through because there's 11 books on that TBR. It should be easier to get through like the 3 from the library because they have like a due date. But the others, I have 3 months to get through them, and then add those little books in there in between that are not in my TBR. So, and the other ones I just pulled at random. It's like, okay, which ones do I want to read the most right now? Again, mood reader. That is my TBR. That is what I'm going to do. And I have until beginning of June to finish these. I think that's doable. But I think that is going to be it for today's video. Thank you for being patient with this one. I've been exhausted from vlogging. I was absolutely exhausted from vlogging from my last video, which I think is funny because I kind of complained that it was a long vlog when in reality the vlog ended up being 24 minutes. So it was long for me, but it was not even a half hour for any of my viewers because I didn't vlog as much. I was too busy enjoying the books I was reading for the most part, I think. The Wicked King is questionable. So this was just an easier video for me to do. Luna came to say hi. Wanna say hi? Luna came to say hello. Hi. Okay, I'm done. Sorry. Bit moose. But that does set a few clearer goals for me, so I'm not just picking books at random, which is gonna be kind of nice, I think, and just keeping those in mind, I think will make kind of these videos a little easier to thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. And because it really helps my channel out, because I'm still relatively small, which is fine. And what are your reading goals for spring? What is something you are reading this spring? What's something you're reading right now that you're into? And if anyone has as many issues as I do with books I mentioned that I have problems with, let me know what y'all thought, because I have my opinions. I will see you guys in the next... Oh, actually, I had an idea. Just thought about it. If you have any recommendations for me, that would be great. My husband and I are going on a trip in a couple of months, and I really had like kind of this epiphany idea on what we could do. I just have to get the books. There's gonna be a lot of driving, so I kind of want to get a couple of audiobooks. Zach is really into like historical biographies, just throwing that out there. And just some like, if you have any recommendations for us to listen to on the road, let me know in the comments below. And that should be it for this video. Thank you for sticking around for my little tangent, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.